That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm,
Articulate and intelligent.
Greg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them offensive as hell.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, fuck that.
Ooh, terrible! Bad! Not bad! Oh, pretty good. Okay, decent, fair, great, I loved it!
This sucks.
Yeah, you really gotta wonder how the stuff gets made.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We're back. And man, we both had long drives. I think mine was 5 hours. Yours
was significantly longer than mine.
Yeah.
Still, when I make the same trip up north, it's the same drive over and over and over again.
Yeah. So you're used
it's
to
so
it.
boring and repetitive. Now, when we drove down for the Bourbon Trail, going down to Lexington, that felt significantly faster than driving up to the south side of Michigan. I'm not sure how, but it did because it was brand new terrain.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was brand new as well. I mean, it's been since I was in my 30s and early 40s. I've been to Nashville to see a friend to record some music, by the way, which was fun. But my 5.5 hour drive there was Puckerfest. Puckerfest. I mean, my ass was clenched tight. I mean, I'm afraid when I drive now, of every asshole around me. And then it was just insanity. The traffic was insane. Then we had some traffic jams that helped me up. So, yeah, I mean, I've learned now that I'm old. I kind of drive like a grandma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin went to the St. Joe, Benton Harbor area.
Yeah. Nashville, by the way, is an amazing. Nashville's amazing city. So it was a lot of fun. I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I left today to come back at noon. Noon their time. Surely the traffic was different in the 80s. Yeah, maybe. But you know what? I was an insane, didn't give a shit kid. I graduated in 89. I drove like an idiot. I mean, I drove that Renault back and forth from Bloomington to Indianapolis, going 89, 90 miles per hour. That was crazy.
Yeah. My dad used to talk about how my mom, when she was in her ute, was a lead-foot driver. She was a Detroit city driver, this typical city type of driving and everything like that. Now if you see her drive now, there's no way you'd believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I just love being home. I mean, I had a great time. We did a couple songs. We didn't finish either of them, but they're close. And so they're going to send me the mix downs that I did, and then I'll work on them. But man, yeah, I'm exhausted. We were up until like 3 or 4 in the morning every night. And yeah, it was a lot for an old guy. Back in the day, that would have been no problem. Very good spot. St. Joseph, Michigan is the birthplace of Kate Upton. Yep.
Many of mine and the wife's family know the Upton family. Not well enough. We don't send cards back and forth, to put it that way.
They haven't touched her breasts, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. The turd in the background says, "Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We just saw a very interesting Yanks abroad. We saw 5 Yanks at the AC Milan game. 6 if you count my wife, who serviced both Greg and Pioli." Was Greg at the AC Milan game?
He was.
Okay, I didn't see that. In fact, it's the last game I'm catching up on. It's on the screen now, and Pulisic just got yanked off the field at the 43rd minute, and I guess it was because of the red card or whatever. But
in part, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's great seeing all these Americans involved, and Musa went 90, I believe, and Weah went 83, so almost 90. McKenny went 90. The only guy who didn't was Pulisic, and boy, was he disappointed when he got yanked. So, and I don't blame him because it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
Star Wars Satan. I'm not gay or anything. Well, it'd be fine if you were. But I would have sexual intercourse with Reyna. What? I mean, that's fine if that's what you want. It's just kind of odd because I guess it's not. But, are you having it because, you want to do that to him because you think he's good looking or because he is, a stud on the soccer field, on the football pitch.
Maybe they're step siblings, and Satan's been listening to you this entire time.
I'm not gay or anything, but I want to fuck to you, Reyna. Okay. All right. Sounds good. And we'll get into Reyna. He had a great 25 minutes, just exceptional. Kind of like so good that you can't keep him off the pitch. They interviewed Berhalter on Paramount Plus. I missed that.
You can go back and watch it anytime, Derek.
I know, I will. But, we both had busy weekends. I tried to watch as many games as I could while I was there. But when you're up till 4 a.m, that gives you maybe a few chances to check out one game before you go to bed. And then we get up noon and do it all over again. A lot of good beer drinking, a lot of vodka drinking, a lot of good music listening. Nice home, Brett. I know.
Yeah, I was bored with the setup I had on Thursday. So Friday, before we went up to Michigan, I decided to revamp the house again. As you can see, I got my yoga mats and stuff over here.
Yeah.
Some workout equipment way over here. Over here, there we are.
Yeah, I can see that.
Got a nice mirror so you can I can practice my dancing.
Stripper pole.
Well, yeah. Two of them right there. See, one.
So you do them with EB, both of you. Okay.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Do you strip while you do the practice?
Of course. You have to practice in suit.
Your kids must be totally ashamed to be around. All right.
You weren't here.
They weren't here. That's true.
Yeah.
But actually, your house doesn't look too much different from that. It just doesn't have stripper poles and a yoga mat.
Nor a walkout door like this.
Oh, you don't have a walkout?
I've got a storm cellar door, actually. This base, the two families that owned this house prior to us owning it, both males were woodworkers. They worked and sculpted a lot of wood.
Is that what you're saying? You're calling it?
Yeah. That's why they had these stripper poles put in.
Okay. All right. They lived there together and they were woodworkers. All right. AJ1410 whatever. All right. 199. We appreciate it, brother. Yes, Soto over Ferreira. You don't even have to write their names anymore.
No, he's doing that to save characters because at 199 you're only allowed 50 characters. He's like, fuck, really gotta condense this down.
No shit. All right.
You should just change your name to Soto greater than Ferreira. That way it's always there.
Yeah. And by the way, Soto did not even dress this weekend, so he did not play, obviously, for Klagenfurt. My player got promoted. Proud moment as Couch. Couch. I know you meant Coach, but still. Which player would that be? AJ1410. I don't know. Let us know, AJ. Which player? Soto did not get promoted to anything.
AJ1410. I'm trying to go with the Jenny, or whatever the name of the song. What's the name of the song?
8675309.
But the name of the actual song, though, it's not just the number, is it? Is it Jenny? Got my number? No. I can't remember the name of the song. Anyhow, it was big when I was young. Good song. If you don't know what song we're talking about, go look up that. I feel it is okay. BMR does say it's just called Jenny.
Jenny. Okay.
It's I feel bad for the people who actually had that number.
There was someone who had the number, and she had to get a new number.
Everyone called it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you were just curious, right? Well, who is this? Let's see who's really behind this number.
I don't know how many times that person received a phone call and say, "Hey, is Jenny there?" Before they caught on to it. Like,
okay, asshole. I heard the song. Quit calling.
Now, man.
Yeah, I don't think it would take you very long to figure out you need to change your phone number. Bandit, big when I was young. Nice one, Derek. It was big. Oh, the song was big, but there are other things about me that were bigger too. Like I've shrunk like a quarter of an inch since then.
Your height, right?
Yeah. I see where you're going there. Just height. The height. Everything else hasn't really shrunk. In fact, a lot of things just keep growing, like your ears, your nose. They all keep growing. Like my nose is way bigger than it was when I was in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
And your ears keep growing. These are things that happen as you go get older, everybody. So get ready. And you
Derek, you could fight that by getting plastic surgery. They can break that down and chop off half your nose.
Yeah, not worth it. I'm not. I've mentioned on this show many times. I have no interest in, meeting a woman companion.
Doesn't mean you can't look nice, though, Derek.
Well, what's the point? What is the point otherwise? Anyhow, I'm getting all nice up, and I look great for work.
Yeah. Builds your confidence. You can go into work. They'll give you a raise for looking
Oh,
good.
that's what I need to build my confidence. That's a real issue I've got.
Evie always bitches at me. She goes, "Man, if I just had an ounce of the Corbett confidence, oh my god, I wouldn't be with you right now." Thank goodness you don't have any confidence in.
Yeah, I guess so. And you guys wouldn't be married. All right, what else? What do we got today?
Chris Gary sent us something over just before the show started. Unfortunately, I saw it.
Okay.
Do you remember the show a month or so back when I had posted? There's a video of actually, it wasn't even video. It's just a picture that you're supposed to look at. It was like a photo negative.
I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, it was a while. I was upstairs, and I only just moved down recently.
Yeah, it's like 3 shows ago.
It was not 3 shows ago, Derek.
Okay. 4.
Anyways, so you looked at the picture, and then you look at the wall and blink, and the photo negative photo ends up looking like a normal photo.
Right.
Well,
right.
Chris Gary sent us a new one here.
Okay. So
this one's
this is for all you stone fuckers out there.
I realized I had our messages up. That would have been bad. No, I don't think there's. Like, who am I really? All right.
This image has actually no.
There's gonna be audio instructions here. Ready?
Okay.
This image has actually no colors. Stare at the red dot in the middle for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close your eyes for another 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now open them up.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I had to pause it because by the time he says now open them up, it's like literally like right here and done. So I had to stop it.
Yeah. They need to fix that part.
Yeah, I had a couple more seconds.
Exactly. All right. That was interesting. Thank you, Chris Gary.
Well, I had a bunch of political topics pulled up, and you've axed them all out. Like, now we don't need to talk about it. Now we don't need to talk about it. But I figured we could talk about global warming.
Oh, great.
Climate change, Derek. Let's talk about climate change.
I really don't think that that's appropriate for this show.
Derek, it absolutely is.
No, it's really not. Okay. Evidence of global warming.
So here's evidence of global warming. You have the 1900s, then you have 1940s. This is women underwear. 1980s, little boy shorts.
Oh man!
You got the thong, and then you got the G-string going.
Yeah.
2020s.
Yeah.
It's getting hotter out there, man. You got to wear less and less.
Yeah, sure. I think it's more of a fashion thing, but okay.
No. You imagine wearing that now, man? We'd be sweltering hot.
Yeah, and if they didn't have AC back then, so don't ask me how they, got through the.
Maybe that's how they were all. Maybe that's how they were all fit, right? It's not the garbage, the processed garbage that we're putting on our bodies. It's that they were constantly wearing clothes that made them sweat profusely, and they were just always in better shape because of it. It's like living in a sauna.
Could be a tiny percentage of it. Yeah, but life was harder back then too, and it was hard to get. You didn't have processed food either, like chips and ice cream and Raisinets, cookies. Christ, a white G-string just seems wrong. Depends on who's wearing it, Brian. All right.
Well, what else is getting more and more difficult these years is coming up with a good Halloween costume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's I hate buying the store prefabricated ones.
Yeah.
Charlie last year was Sonic the Hedgehog, and this year she's super fast Sonic the Hedgehog, which is basically just a yellow copy. And I'm like, why did we buy a new one? I could have just spray painted the old one yellow, but whatever. And then Jackson was a skeleton last year. We tried painting his face with like some glow in the dark paint. That didn't work. I'm sure he might get cancer from it because who knows what I put on his face from that shit.
Hey, you don't know.
This year he is a character from Demon Slayer. It's an anime.
Okay, I don't know.
I could not for life of you tell you who he is actually because I've never actually watched Demon Slayer.
I haven't either.
So he's like, I want to be a character from Demon Slayer. I'm like, and he's looking over at me. I'm like, I Googled it real quick and I just said, hey, pick the main character here. Pick him.
Yeah, is this some sort of a Demon Slayer? Sounds like, you're going to dress him up as a priest.
But, yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm just looking to see if anybody had the name because I don't know if any of our chat actually watches young enough chat. I feel like most of them probably watch anime. But either way, this is definitely not anime. But here's a good idea for a Halloween costume.
Okay.
Who up in there?
I gotta pause audio here in a second.
There, what the?
I like that.
Oh, yo, taking a shit.
Terrible timing. Leave me alone. I'm taking a shit.
That's a good one. I like that one. That's really good. I had some guy come to the Halloween party back when we played a big show. He was a friend that I knew at work, and he dressed up with like he was a turd, and then he had a halo. He dressed up as holy shit. I thought that was pretty thoughtful of him. All right. I like that. That's a great costume.
Stop sharing this, and people are. Oh my God! Hold on. One second. I've got a picture of Jackson because people are like, "Hey, describe it." I just went ahead and did a quick Google on it. Let me see if I can.
Demon Slayer.
Here we go. Yep. All right. 1 second. Let me pull it up. He's this guy. This person.
Huh. That doesn't look like that'd be difficult to almost do on your own. You just need to find that green little jacket.
It's dirt cheap just to fucking buy.
Yeah, exactly. Those are those cheap sets that they have. Did you have to go one of the big Halloween stores?
Nope. On Amazon for a reason.
Ah, good.
You can get just about everything you want on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right. What's the topics we got next?
All right, let's see here. Well, Derek, this might be a controversial topic.
Okay.
But, no better place to hit these hard-hitting topics like the straight red card.
Sure.
But I've got video evidence proving why women soccer players don't know how to play the game.
Okay. I think you're on your own on this one. If this gets us busted, you're
Nope.
It's on you.
Watch. She can't even dribble. She doesn't know where the ball's at.
Oh, this is EA Sports.
Oh.
That's a serious glitch, man. They got to.
I feel like you're playing the game wrong.
Hopefully they fix this shit.
Well, check her. I mean, she can run like a motherfucker.
Dude, it's rugby now.
Yeah.
Is she gonna jump in the goal?
Sit down, bitch.
Yeah. Okay, that's a serious glitch. Unless AI made it.
Can't wait to start playing that and start seeing some of those glitches.
Yeah.
Start posting that shit up.
If it really is a glitch and isn't just something somebody created using AI.
That'd be impressive. Yeah. Imagine that's just a glitch.
Okay, well, it's a serious glitch. Like
that shit happens. Although weird that it goes up and catches it with their hand.
Yes, that's the weird part of the glitch. It's like the one part of the game that's a no-no. You would think that unless the game thinks she's a goalkeeper.
Cody says it was a real glitch. They fixed it a few days later.
Wow, that's a huge bad glitch. It always amazes me how little they actually test these games before they put them out.
That's the thing, though. it's a completely different era of video games. You don't have to release a completed game. You release a game, and then you patch the shit up later. I can't tell you how many games you by the time they release it to the stores and start selling and shit like that, they've already got patches for the glitches that they have, and then you got to sit there and download the fucking patch.
That sounds like
just sell me a complete game. I mean, back in the day, those games were complete. That's all I want.
They came and didn't have glitches.
Unless you're talking about like the ET game from Atari, and that was just one giant glitch.
Well, that was just a big turd. That was like the worst game in history.
It bankrupted Atari. Of course, it was a big turd.
Well, they did it to themselves. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, well, they had who came up with ET? What company?
Spielberg?
What company produced it? Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. They came to Atari and they said, "Hey, we need this game out before the premiere." They had 6 weeks to come up with a game, so they created that game in 6 weeks, and then shipped it out.
It's horrible. They've been better off.
I'm kind of impressed that they did all that with just 6 weeks. I mean, it's a garbage game, but
a lot of the parts of it don't even work.
BMR is just a treasure trove of information. It's universal.
Thank you.
Larry has become Bello for life.
So yeah, Bello went 90 for last this weekend, and they won the game.
Hey.
So does that mean he might start more? Yes, but keep in mind he's playing for Lask in Austria.
Or last.
Lask with a K. But yes. Okay, what's up next?
We're coming up this summer. We obviously have the Copa, tournament to talk about with the national team. But the other big talking point is the Olympics.
Right.
We have the Olympics coming up, and we've heard a couple of A-string players that have voiced interest of wanting to play for the Olympics.
Yeah.
But then, you have all the realistic fans like us who came out and said, "There's no way that Pulisic's going to play in Copa and then also play in the Olympics. There's no way that Milan's going to allow that. It's not going to happen.
Probably not.
It's a U23 tournament. Now, I would make Pulisic one of the overage players, but
you could.
But then there's a lot of people just sit there and talk about, well, it's a youth tournament. Who cares? Just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
These players, these 18 players, shouldn't really care, and that's a big issue because some of these players really do want to play. And here's
well, I don't doubt it.
Talking about it, who stands a good chance, obviously, to play in the Olympics, but
yeah, Brian Gutierrez says it means so much to me. It's a time where you can represent your country and everybody's watching you. Everybody watches the Olympics. I don't know about that. I remember growing up watching the Olympics, putting it on and cheering for my country. It's an honor to be able to represent my nation and the city where I'm from. Yeah, I mean, all that's great and dandy, and I think that's a great sentiment to have. I don't know how important the Olympics are for soccer. Like, it's important for like the guys that run around the track. It's Olympic hockey's still big, but soccer's always been sort of like an added on sort of an event.
It's one reason why I like the fact that it's a U23 tournament.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't need to have an extra tournament where all of our A team who play year round, multiple international windows, big tournaments, and then World Cups, just to squeeze in another one every 4 years. So I'm fine with it being a youth tournament. Which is one reason why I don't want any of our A team really playing in it.
No, I don't think it's necessary. No. Unless someone says, hey, man, it's the dream of my life. If someone says that, I guess you got to consider it. But if you're also going to play on the A team and play in Copa America, you're putting your club in a tough situation. And your club, your service to your club, right? And then you're also amping up the chances you're going to get injured. That's a lot of international stuff to do. So let's just keep it a U23 tournament. If you want to send some of the MLS guys that, probably not going to make the next team, I hope, like send Zimmerman. That's one of the older dudes or something. Yeah. Placate them. let Morris go play the Olympics because that's the only, World Cup or international cup he's ever going to see again. I don't know. Do that. It's the time to placate some folks.
BMR says it's U23 tournament because FIFA didn't want it to rival the World Cup.
That's correct.
I think they deem it as a U23 tournament because they couldn't profit off the Olympics.
FIFA doesn't make any profit from the Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. They
Right.
they made it a U23 tournament. Well, I don't. I guess
they made it a U23 tournament. That was the Olympics decision. I'm just telling you that FIFA is never going to sanction the Olympic soccer tournament. So you don't even have to release players for this fucking thing. All right? Because FIFA doesn't mandate it. And FIFA, from the very beginning, from the very first World Cup, their whole idea is the World Cup is there to be the real test of the best countries in the world. And so if we give any credence to the fucking Olympic tournament, it'll lessen the importance of ours. So yeah, they've been shitting on the Olympics since the 1930s. Yeah.
So that's basically what it's saying. Although I was kind of surprised that I guess the Olympics may wanted it to be more of an amateur-esque, if you will.
Well, it was
type of tournament
back in the day.
So I'm just that's kind of the point. But then I guess if I don't know, is hockey do all the best players in hockey go?
Yes. It like the Olympics stopped being amateur a long time ago.
Yeah.
So when the Dream Team, remember the Dream Team with Michael Jordan? That was the first year pros were allowed to play in most and all of the sports.
Well, then why emphasize that? Why are there rules for the soccer then? I mean, I know teams don't have to release players regardless, but why even have the U23? Why not just say, hey, it's open season. If MLS wants to send a completely over 30 squad, they could.
Because they got realistic about it.
Sure.
So, it's been that way for so long that it's just going to stay that way. And I think that's fine. It's a youth tournament or a younger player tournament. I mean, if you're U23, you're still playing fucking MLS. You're probably, and you're not dominating and you're not showing like you're one of the best players in the league. You're probably not going to be going to Europe anyhow. So, and playing for one of the best clubs in the world or whatever. So, yeah.
And I'm fine with it being a U23 tournament. Although again, not the teams have to release the players, but from an Olympic standpoint, why do they even care at that point? To instill the U23 plus some overage rules. It doesn't make any sense. Just removing it. If it's just a U23 tournament from all the countries around the world, then it's a U23 tournament. What will end up happening is you'll probably have the major teams that are going as a U23 tournament. Then you'd have some of the lesser squads with a bunch of overage players. But who cares at that point? Fuck it.
Could be. You have to ask the Olympic Committee why they decided to do that. Either it's to placate FIFA, so FIFA isn't even more nasty about it than they already are, or they just decided it would be better off as a youth tournament. So that's up to them. I don't know. Either way, I hate to spoil Brian's dreams and all, but I don't think people go and watch the women play in the Olympics because the women don't have a whole lot of tournaments, right? And not a whole lot of people watch club women's soccer. That's just a reality. So there are only so many tournaments for the women. And for our male players, they not only play for their country in international play, but there's also a Confederations Cup, and then there's Copa, and then there's Gold Cup. Women don't have any of that shit, really. So,
sorry, I got caught off guard by Al's comment here.
That's absolutely fine. I don't know which one of those. Is it the 1900s special?
Yeah, that's a great question,
Alan.
I'd have to go back. I'd have to go and take a look to see what the ratings are for the Olympics for the men's soccer side. I mean, again, I know it's a U23 tournament, but I imagine that the ratings has still got to be decent.
No, the ratings for the Olympics have been going down for years anyhow.
Well, that's across the board.
I know.
Yeah.
So, the ratings aren't going to be that great. Like, they're really the thing that people go and watch the Olympics for is like the 100-yard dash.
But that's the thing, though. I don't know how many people are really watching that. I think more people are. Well, like I said, it depends on the year of the Olympics, if it's going to be winter or summer. But
if an American is involved and has a chance to win and be the fastest man in the world, they're watching. That's like when what's his face from Jamaica was dominant for years.
Insane.
Yeah, you never missed a Bolt race. You just didn't.
I did.
Well, I did. That I turned on. And then swimming.
I only caught the events that occur while I was at the bar, and I watched sitting there at the sports bar watching whatever,
Swimming's
curling.
Really popular. Curling is kind of a niche one, but
I mean, I'm not going out my way to watch. I'm just I'm pulling up random events during it.
It's like, okay,
you got out of my way to watch beach volleyball.
You got pros playing in the Olympics for tennis. No one gives a fuck. Nobody who really cares about that. It's compared to Wimbledon, the Australian Open, the French Open, and the US Open. The Olympics is like a pea compared to a giant baseball. All right. Eric C. I tried learning the guitar and quit after 6 sessions. 29 is too old to learn an instrument. I wouldn't tell Diego that.
I was thinking it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. It can be, Eric. I don't know, because obviously I picked up a guitar around like 19 years old, which this also seems pretty old. But it also depends on your skill and your ability. So some people just have a knack for music and musical instruments, and others just not. And that doesn't go for all musical instruments. I can play almost every instrument you could, but if I got to blow into it, I can't. I can't play a trumpet. I can't play could learn how to play
Male
any
prostitution
of those.
just doesn't work for you then, huh?
It didn't. It really didn't pay off. So except for a harmonica, any fucking moron can play a harmonica, right? So that's easy. Yeah.
I recently saw an inspirational short on YouTube where they're talking about the rule of 100, and it's if you regardless of the activity, whether it's a musical instrument, playing a sport, learning how to draw with your feet.
What?
People do that. Yeah, there are artists that can do that shit. Like, I've seen people like literally draw. I've seen. I'll go back to that video in a sec, but I've seen videos of people of a chick who was able to draw on 4 different pieces of paper, one with each foot, one with each hand, and draw the exact same picture.
I would not even.
I don't know how you get to that point, but whatever.
She's bored.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But the rule of 100 is basically if you spend it's something along the lines of, like, if you spend 18 minutes a day doing that activity, you'll have accrued 100 hours in a year or something like this. And at that point, you will be better at that specific activity than 95% of the people around the world.
That's funny because, at my peak, I was probably playing guitar almost 4 hours a day. But I am a horrible musician. Like, I'm not good at I'm not Evie Malmsteen. I'm not going to become, Van Halen or something. I'll never be. I wouldn't want to anyhow, but I was just really competent. I was a competent guitar player. I was a good writer of music. I wasn't like the best at playing the instrument itself. Anyhow.
Yeah.
But it could be also that you've picked the wrong instrument. You picked the guitar, maybe keyboard's more your thing, or piano. Give something else a try. If you're really interested in music and you want to learn to play something, maybe you just picked the wrong one.
What about the flesh flute?
Depends on how much you donate. Al. Jose Lopez for $1.99. Women's volleyball is goated. I like watching Olympic volleyball because it's really who does anyone care about the World Cup of volleyball? By the way, which exists? No. Is it on any major network? Does anyone care? No, but they do care about the Olympics. So, yeah.
If beach volleyball comes on, I'm watching. It's incredibly awkward when it's done in person. So,
all right. Beach volleyball is, I don't know. I never really got into that because everything's flicked in the air and you got to flick this and flick that. And there's not enough players on the beach. You got 3 outfield players and 1 goalie, right?
Beach volleyball, Derek. There's no goalie. What goalie? What are you talking about?
Oh, beach volleyball. I thought you meant beach soccer. My bad.
Dude, you're describing it, and I'm like, what is this guy watching? If he's there's not enough players on the sand, and they just keep flicking the ball. They keep flicking it around. Like, what are you watching? Nobody's watching that when it comes to beach volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really get into that as much as when the full team's on, like in the gym. To me, that's like volleyball. Beach volleyball is another one of those. Hey, man, you know that volleyball sport? We're going to go play it on the beach, and then that's going to be in the Olympics too. Well, wait a minute. We already got volleyball, but not on a beach. You don't have it on a beach, bitch. Oh, all right. Okay, go ahead. We could do what? Play beach football. Oh, wait. Beach frisbee.
There's no football in the Olympics, so you can't have beach football. That'd just be weird.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't take like frisbees are in the Olympics now.
I'm sure the bulk of viewers of beach volleyball aren't actually watching it for the sport itself.
The 100-yard dash? That's awesome on a track, but have you seen it on a beach? No? Well, now there's the new 100-yard dash on the fucking beach. Totally different.
More impressed if they had to if the person running the 100-yard dash had to like outrun like a tiger.
Okay.
I tune into that.
Okay. I would too.
You got to give the runner like a 5-second head start. I mean, I know they're already going to be halfway down, but at that point, the tiger's like.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if the tiger would catch him at that point, but
that one where they do the what's that? Where they have the big ball and they got to throw it off their shoulder. What's that called?
Shot
put. You like the shot put? Do you like watching?
I'm trying to think of where you're going with this.
Do you like the track and field shit in general?
Not really.
Okay, I do. I like it. So, but you can't just take every sport and then say, "Well, you haven't done it on the beach." So now we're going to go do that on the beach, and then that's going to be its own thing, like beach soccer and beach volleyball. There's already soccer, and there's already volleyball. We don't need to do it on the beach. What's that about? It's like you're making up new sports.
When it comes to the Olympics, I'd rather watch beach volleyball than regular volleyball.
How about they have to play volleyball?
I'd rather watch both.
How about they have to play volleyball on a outside on top of marbles? How's that? That's real volleyball.
You go digging in for those balls in the sand, man. That's just exfoliates your skin nicely.
Okay, you want to exfoliate even further? Then play it in manure. Manure volleyball. Now you're talking about a sport. Now, it's just what I'm saying. You're not getting the point. You can't just add different surfaces and then say, oh, we're going to add another volleyball thing to the Olympics, except this time it's not on sand, and this time it's not on the gym. This time it's in shit. They're playing in shit, or mud. I don't know if you want to make it cleaner. Mud volleyball. Okay, it's my complaint. I'm sorry.
Hey, I would love to watch mud volleyball. It'd be great.
I'm sure you would in bikinis.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons why most people watch beach volleyball too.
Mud volleyball / wrestling. They have to wrestle to confirm the set. All right, enough of this.
This is dangerous.
Goonery.
Dangerous path we're going down.
All
right. I'm gonna kill your buzz. I'm gonna kill your buzz, Derek. I know you're just picturing all the ladies in their bikinis and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna kill your buzz with a lawless tweet.
Okay, let's do it. Those always amuse me. Sure was a lot of drama, emotion, fun, and consequence on MLS Decision Day for a league without pro rel. Sure was a lot of drama, emotion, fun, and consequence on MLS Decision Day for a league without pro rel. Yeah, for the teams that still had a shot. What about the teams that were fucking done last?
Yeah,
There was no drama for them.
we missed out on a Messi in the playoffs,
There was no bottom three fighting for their survival.
but there were at least 3 teams fighting for a playoff spot, Derek.
Oh, great. That's awesome. When more than half the teams make the playoffs. Oh, great. Come on,
Shut up,
dude.
Derek. That hurt. Thanks for bringing that up.
I'm
Once
sorry.
again, another year, another kick to the nuts.
Another 10 teams from each division making the playoffs.
Gotta hope
Right?
we go to like 24 teams next year.
You know, I just think that Alexi just got to pick his fights better than this.
So my take on this is that Lawless has over the years has stood to his ground as far as saying, hey, it's a business, it's their business. They don't want to do it. They don't want to take the chance of losing money. They don't want to drop down to lower leagues after spending so much money doing this and that. It's all business. It's business.
Of course it is.
Fine with that. I'm fine with that argument. If you want to stick to that argument, I agree. That's what MLS is thinking too. It's all business. It's business. Why
Right.
do we need to incorporate these other leagues and have a pro rel? It doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint from their
Not after you just paid $400 to $600 million to get in the fucking league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to make some of that money back before you start doing it.
Before you get relegated.
He's taking that stance, and of course this brought people out of the woodwork. You know, Tact was in there, but other people were the typical pro rel people. That I don't like MLS because of pro rel.
No, what about our good friend? Did he do? Our old friend Ted Westerfeld?
I don't know if Ted's in here. I know. I think Soccer Reform did it. Was in there. I don't know if Ted's in there or not. But Ted,
shocking.
I think Ted. For a while there, I wasn't seeing anything from Ted. Then all of a sudden, I started seeing a lot from Ted. And I don't know if he just unblocked or unblocked people. Because
I don't know.
All of a sudden, I start seeing his stuff all the time.
Is he still saying the same shit?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I thought maybe at this point, after 15 years of this, Ted would have woken up one morning and gone, well, you know what? After 15 years of banging my head against the wall and banging a drum,
Sees it as an easy target. That's the thing. Why would he stop?
I just think I got to go do something. I got to pick another cause in my life because this one isn't going to happen, and it's not going to happen. Not when you ask people to pay $400 million and then $600 million. And we're not even talking about the people who paid $200 million to get in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's a lot. That's a huge investment. You would have to require every promoted team then to also pay that fee. Oh, you got promoted? You want to get in the league? You got to pay us $600 million. And then we're going to give a portion of that $600 million to the guys you just got relegated. It's the only way it's going to work.
Or there's going to be a lot of compensation. I mean, the teams that have been in the league for a long time, obviously they spent a lot of money initially, and it hurt. But they got to a point now where obviously they're making money.
I mean, think about it. That league barely survived. It barely got through the first handful of years. They lost teams. It looked like the league was going to end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the people that
lost 2 teams.
The people that stayed in,
Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
Right. And what we were down to 8 teams, 10 teams? Can't even remember. But it was like, holy shit, this is not good. And
I don't think it ever got down that low, but
I thought it did. Because I don't believe
you might be lumping that in with our NASL days.
No.
With Indy 11.
No.
Because that happened.
Dude, there weren't even that many teams originally in the league. Look it up. So once those 2 went, it was like, oh shit, this could end. And then it looked like it was going to, and you had the major investors, of whom we all hate now, but who kept the league afloat, owned multiple teams, right? So, yeah, they don't want to go down. No.
Let's see here. In 2002, there were 10 teams.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
There we are.
I know it's hard to believe there were only 10 teams, but
Oh my goodness!
now that
Larry must have read my mind. Can you see my window? How did Larry do that? Literally picked 2002 out of the blue.
Yep, it was going to fold in 2022, very close to folding. So yeah, all the people that dump money in it to keep it on a life support system, and when I say dump money in it, I mean dump it because they weren't making any. They don't want to be relegated. You got to understand that. I love Pro Rel. I'd love to see Pro Rel, but it ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. There's too much money and too much history, and people don't like losing their money, and it's single entity. So that would have to change.
That's the thing. That's always been my stance. Is I don't see it ever happening, or maybe not ever, but no time in the near future, because of the money that MLS is squeezing from its new investors.
Right.
I mean, something would have to happen there.
Yeah.
But he does go on because Pitch says not nearly the same as any league with Pro Rel. That actually has consequences, not just wait till next season and see. But we're still in the league.
What you mean, like people losing their jobs, making less money, or having fewer opportunities? Okay, but not on the scale of actual real relegation, Lexi. Okay? And let's be honest, some MLS coaches have horrible seasons and will keep their jobs.
Yeah.
Unlike you can't even start off in having a bad season in England or you're out. They'll have like 2 or 3 managers replace you during the season.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, his point obviously is the consequences for having Pro and Rel would be for teams who are going down, who are getting relegated. People will lose their jobs, make less, and the team will make less money, and there'll be fewer opportunities. But there are teams that are getting promoted who are going to be hiring people at new jobs, whether it's coaching or players, staff, front office. They're going to be making more money because they're in a higher league, making more money, and they're going to have more opportunities. So it's a give and take. And you know what? That team that went down last season, even though they took that financial hit, they could literally just bounce right back up.
They could. Or how's this for a consequence, Alexi? You never come back up again.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did it take Nottingham Forest to come back? How many years has it taken QPR since they went down? They're still down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fucking serious consequence for a lot of teams, even big ones, that once they went down, they never came back up. That's a fucking, yeah. It's been a long time. I mean, and QPR, when I was a kid, QPR and Nottingham Forest, those were like perennial good teams, you know?
Derek, you've had a lot of when I was a kid moments in this podcast so far.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid,
that song was the Bee's Knees, and
well, when I was a kid, I couldn't say that. I couldn't say when I was a kid because I was a kid.
It's fair.
I'm just saying, harken back to those days, man. I mean, can you imagine if a flagship team like LA Galaxy got relegated and then got relegated all the way down to USL League One and never came back up for like a decade, and one of the biggest, most invested teams in MLS was just stuck down there? Yeah, that's
suck less.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, you could say that.
It's a bit different in U.S. compared to, say, England, like we're talking about here. Even though I know LA has that history within our short amount of history, but them going down, I mean, there's a vast quality difference between USL and USL 1 and USL 2, etc.
Oh, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, with all the money that that's been invested in LAG as far as making the league flourish, etc., you know, they're not going to accept Pro Rel. There's no way any owner in MLS is going to say yes to Pro Rel.
Well, I feel the owner AG definitely has flooded the league and kept it afloat for the longest time, which is one reason why it would be a shame for in that situation, LAG to go down, because obviously AG has sold off Houston, they sold off Chicago, they sold off all the teams that they personally funded at the beginning of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they only have LA Galaxy. And it's just, again, if you incorporated somebody who made the league as stable as it is nowadays,
Yeah,
to get shipped off. I mean, it would be a travesty. It'd
it'd be a travesty for them. I don't know if I would care personally. I really don't care. I really don't care about any of the billionaires that own the teams. I don't care about them. I'm just giving you the reality, people. Pro rel ain't happening because the people in power in Major League Soccer are Garber and the owners, and they're not going to let it happen ever.
It's the only way it's going to happen is if USL basically says, well, screw MLS, we're going to continue to grow, and they legitimately compete against them. Now, obviously US is not going to allow 2 Division I leagues in there.
They do for the women.
That's fair. But I mean, at this point, imagine they just want the women to have teams and playing and trying to grow. I don't think at the men's level they're going to allow it, because they didn't allow with NASL. They allowed it at first. They allowed having 2 Division II leagues, but then that changed, and they were no longer allowing a second Division II to be there.
Right.
So I don't think that they're going to allow USL to legitimately compete with MLS as far as a quote unquote division, if you will.
Right.
But from USL standpoint, if there's nowhere to go up, who cares if you're Division I or Division II if you're just equivalent on the quality on the field?
Apparently, people do. People care, because obviously USL attendance is pretty much demolished by MLS attendance.
Well, I'll tell you this much. So if you had a team as good as, say, Seattle, or insert rando team here, if you had just as good a team in USL, and they were to go in, win the CONCACAF Champions League because they beat US Open Cup, because that's the only way into CONCACAF Champions League at that point. If they were to do that, you would see the attendance go up. Regardless of it being Division II.
You would need to have a gazillionaire buy a team in USL, go out and buy some of the best players in the world, and destroy every MLS team in the cup.
But that's the thing. I'm not saying this is going to be a next year type of thing.
No, it's not.
USL's going to have to look long term on this.
If you're a gazillionaire, why don't you just buy one of the MLS teams? Why waste your time?
You're the one that brought the gazillionaire, Derek.
I'm just telling you that, okay, I'm telling you that that's never going to happen. USL it's hopeless. Just look what happened to San Diego. As soon as a fucking San Diego fucking MLS team was named, San Diego were out. Loyal. They were gone.
Yep.
They're out.
Sure.
So there we go.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying it. The only way it was going to happen is if they did that. I'm not saying, next year, if they were to go out and get X, Y, and Z player, they could compete, and then all of a sudden they'd be a competitive league. I'm saying it's from a USL standpoint, it's going to have to be long-term thought process, and they may never ever get there. You're right. MLS may just squash them out at every chance they get.
Well, if you are a good player or a quality player, why would you go play in USL?
To get shipped off to Europe quicker?
Yeah, but that's when you're young. You're talking about a team that's going to win the cup. Like, in order to do that, you got to buy quality players. None of the quality players is going to go play in USL. They're going to play in MLS. Unless they're young.
I'm not referring to a this year, next year, or 10 years from now process. I'm just saying if there isn't ever an opportunity for USL, because there is no opportunity for promotion relegation. If USL has any hopes, they're going to have to grow organically, and they're going to have to develop throughout. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be an instant process.
I don't think it's a
process. And I don't think it might not ever be a process. You're right.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I think like they're fairies shooting out of your ass right now, because that's how unlikely that is to happen. And
it's the only possibility is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good possibility. My only possibility of being a billionaire would have been to win the lottery when it was $1.2 billion.
Right.
Chances of me doing that, slim to nil.
I know.
But that's the only possibility.
You might as well be farting Tinkerbells.
There we go.
All right, next.
We're not disagreeing here, Derek. I think the nuanced argument here is when we're talking about the gap and the possibility. It's the only possibility.
Right. It's just so infinitesimal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, would we like pro rel? Of course we would.
Hmm.
But I got other things in my life to be thinking about and discussing than to be obsessed for 15 years about one topic.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you on this 100%.
right.
Would we like it? Yeah. I mean, how many times would Chicago have been relegated?
Oh yeah, you'd be in
handful of
fits.
times at least.
Yeah.
So I'm not even saying this from a standpoint of my team would never get relegated, because my team would have been relegated at least a handful of times. So
Right. Yeah. Nibble says for $2. Women's long jump is top tier.
it is.
I like track and field. Brett does not like track and
I
field.
don't mind the long jump as long as it's women's.
What's part of track and field?
That's fine.
Okay. I watch the Olympics for track and field. I used to.
I don't even mind pole vault, as long as it's women's.
I like pole vault. I even watch the gymnastics and the way they bounce off those things and flip around 1,000 times. To me, that's impressive shit. So
The common factor here is if it's the women's Olympics, I'll watch it happily.
It's women's and men's together at the same time.
You seem to not be grasping what I'm talking about here. I'm making a very bare basic conversation.
So you're getting a Woody watching the women's gymnastics?
Absolutely, yeah.
Jeez,
Oh no!
Some of those girls are like,
I corrected myself there, Derek. I caught myself.
Some of those girls are like,
fair enough.
13
Gymnastics
years
can go
old.
away. I'm way too old for gymnastics. Oof.
Okay, yeah.
That was, oof.
Close.
Derek,
one.
Derek,
Almost-
that's dangerous game you played there, man.
I know. Oh boy. All right, Lane Kiffin for
I jumped way
$5.
too quickly in that, man. That's oof.
You were like, oh yeah. Oh,
Oh, of course. Oh shit. Did I say that out loud?
I think you forget that no grown women compete in that sport.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, gymnastics. Fuck gymnastics. Fuck.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin for $5. The NFL is encouraging players to participate in flag football at the Olympics. They certainly are, because the NFL is really concerned that somewhere down the line there could be some serious issues because they're all focused on safety now, as you know, because playing football is just it's a dangerous sport, playing gridiron. So they're worried, and they're thinking, well, what if there is a day where they just tell us, yeah, it's too dangerous a sport, and none of the kids are playing Pop Warner anymore because nobody wants their kids playing tackle football. And I've already heard that there's a shift from Pop Warner to flag football now. Like a lot of places are doing that. So maybe they're trying to get on board as early as possible on this. And so that's why they are doing all the commercials about the flag football during NFL games and all that. So, yeah, there's a risk for them. And they're just trying to get out ahead of it.
But I will say, though, that so is there a flag football at the Olympics?
Yes.
And this tweet is basically saying, not tweet, sorry. The super chat is basically saying that the NFL is encouraging its own players to participate in flag football at the Olympics.
I guess he's saying that.
I couldn't fathom.
Sounds
why.
pretty weird to me, because no NFL team wants their players fucking playing flag football so they could pull a fucking groin or snap a fucking tendon or a ligament. No. They may be saying that. What they are doing is openly marketing flag football. That is what they are starting to do. Yes.
That's just that would blow me away if they were the owners of NFL were encouraging their own players to go play in the Olympics in flag football.
And they're funding a lot of these flag football youth leagues, NFL. Yes, they are.
It's fascinating. You got these tens of million dollar contracts for players, and you're just saying, "Hey, go."
Well, what? That's
one here and play.
Oh, the NFL saying that is meaningless. It's up to the teams. They're owned by the teams. This is not single entity. NFL, The owners of the team can go tell the fucking NFL to go fuck themselves. And that's exactly what they are going to do. They're going to tell the NFL, don't listen to those stupid fuckers in the NFL offices.
Sure.
All right. We don't want you to go play flag football. All right.
Well, I mean, hell, a lot of those contracts have stuff like, like you're not allowed to go riding on a motorcycle
right.
while you're employed here. Because I don't need you falling off there and busting your arm. And
we're fine with you running at top speed, and making sharp cuts in flag football games so you can snap a ligament.
Yeah.
Playing something absolutely meaningless.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Nibble again for $5. What if the team players gets relegated, not the brand? Say Chicago Fire gets relegated, the players that earn the promotion get hired by Chicago. That would be fucking weird, but.
Well, I mean, the problem there is, what if the team that gets promoted is in Tulsa
or Alaska?
Yeah,
that'd be a weird way to do it.
All of a sudden, it'd be like Chicago Fire. Where's the home field at? Oh, it's in Alaska. It's in Juneau.
Your Chicago Fire players will be replaced by the Tulsa Roughnecks next season. Yeah. I hope you enjoy people from Tulsa.
I mean, the only way that would work is if a lower division team in the same city would automatically get promoted into that place, like Chicago House getting automatically pushed up.
That would be weird. That would still be really weird. Then Chicago House had to take all the Chicago Fire players. What are they going to do with them? Hire them? They can't hire them. They can't fucking afford it.
Well, and then on top of that, man, Chicago Fire would be even weaker than they normally are.
So the club
system again.
Club system in USL, the clubs are owned by actual owners. Okay. MLS is, although there are owners of the teams, it is single entity. So that's just, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but yeah, that's kind of like, farting fairies again.
I mean, the big argument when it comes to something like that, like say a team like LA or New York or Chicago get relegated, and you start getting teams that have like a city capacity of like 500,000, it taking its place. All of a sudden, you lose that market, assuming that the TV market in those places were big to begin with, but they're really not. The problem is, I mean, you look at the viewership. I mean, Apple will come out and flat out say like, "Oh, we got more people on here viewing, more people signing up to Apple's subscription plan, and there are more people watching these games." And there might be, because Messi's in the Messi effect. If you took Messi out of the equation, I'd be curious to find out what the numbers actually would be.
Yeah.
But again, though, if you lose like somebody in Chicago and you pick up Birmingham, Alabama,
it makes no sense.
That's bigger than Tulsa, but still, you get my point.
It makes no sense.
So, it's kind of their point too.
Yeah. Jose Lopez for $4.99. You think MLS teams would hold back young talent like Liga MX?
There's a question mark there. He's talking about for the Olympics. So Liga MX will sit there and say, like, wait, does Liga MX hold back youth talent?
No. In the past, they've sent pretty good goddamn teams.
Or maybe this is in reference to where Liga MX doesn't actually sell their players abroad as often.
Jose, yeah, but the ones that are abroad and that are under 18, don't be surprised if they aren't let go for the Olympics. But in the past, Liga MX has been okay about letting their young players go play the Olympics. Yep.
I will say Chicago, Atlanta, and Seattle already have some. I think it's Seattle. Maybe it's not Seattle. At least Chicago and Atlanta have a history of not releasing players.
Atlanta, for sure.
Chicago just recently for the U20s with Brady and Gutierrez.
Yep.
So they may already be on that roll. It's going to be in the middle of the season, so who knows? Sorry, Dick. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Well, I was just going to say, the thing about Liga MX is this. The young talent, the under 23 talent in Mexico, in Mexican teams, aren't the ones they usually send aren't regular starters. They're usually depth, right? Mm-hmm. So, but they are the future. Like, they're promising players. So they will send those young guys because they're not typically not the big time players on the team.
Okay, so this is in reference to Pro Rel. Not necessarily the Olympics.
They tend not to sell young starters because they do have pro rel.
So
when
it'd be
they
like
had it.
using we brought up Guti at the Olympics. That'd be like Chicago not selling Guti because they have pro rel to deal with, and they want to keep Guti. But I mean, that's the issue across the board, is it not?
Yeah, they don't sell them to Europe in general because they overprice the players in general. And that may be for whatever protectionism. I don't know if it's just pro rel. It's also that they're overpricing their players. And they've had a lot of players go over there and not be successful.
Well, they may do that just to keep the young players at home instead, you know. Maybe they don't want to sell insert player here, and they're like, well, he's going to be worth $42 million.
I'm not an expert on the
Neither
owners
am I.
in Liga MXs. I have no fucking clue why they overprice their players continuously, and I have no fucking clue why the best player that they have in Holland, who's consistently scoring there and is one of the best players in the Dutch league,
Doesn't play.
can't even get a start over some guy who plays at Fulham who hasn't scored a goal all season for Fulham. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, BMR Mexico did not qualify for the Olympics this year.
Wamp, 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 wamp.
They qualify for the U20. This might be the Breck Shea era for Mexico.
Oh, it definitely is.
I love how he gets lumped into this because that's the one player you can put your finger on to say, like, this is the person that was in that era.
And yeah, and he represents all the players about his same age and how useless they were.
You're watching like, oh, this is gonna be a talented player, and then all of a sudden they just don't pan out.
Yeah, it's a lot of deflated balloons in that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay.
We've talked about the Olympics. We've talked about all that stuff for a lot of time here. For an hour in, let's get into some Yanks abroad here.
Otto Den Haag versus Young Ajax.
Grant Tuberville says, things I did not have on my bingo card today, but it's very nice to see. Justin Che got player of the match.
Listen, dude, if he ain't being player of the match, he's essentially playing 18, 17-year-old kids for Young Ajax.
But he's not playing for them. He's playing against them.
He is playing against them.
Yeah.
And Otto Den Haag is full of players that are grown men. And he just happens to be one of the younger players on that team. This is not Otto Den Haag's 2-team. Like this is Ajax's 2-team. This is Otto Den Haag's first team. So they should be beating up or winning against, if they have any hope for promotion, they got to beat up the young teams. You know, young Ajax, young PSV, young Feyenoord, whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever's still in the second division in Holland. So, yeah, it's nice to see. I'm still shocked he's playing in the second division of Holland. I honestly am. I just cannot believe that's
Was it a full transfer or is that a loan? It's a loan, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's got to be a loan.
Don't know. But he didn't get much chance in Germany. I can tell you that much.
Fuck no. Well, I mean, his chance in Germany was with Bayern, so that's fair. But I mean, somebody may pull it up in the chat here. If it's, I'm pretty positive it's a loan.
Well, I can tell you what, it's a massive step down from a guy who, when he arrived in Germany, in Bayern, told the German press that the German team should consider him for the national team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe that was a sign right away that this person didn't have the right perspective yet to go over there. I will give him credit for sticking it out, though. He could have cried and gone back to the States.
I mean, how old is Che at this point? Like 19, 20?
Yeah, somewhere around there. 19, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a center back /
right back. Yeah.
/ I think played 6 with FC Dallas a couple of games or whatever. So he's still super young. Going on loan to second division of Holland, not awful by any means. As long as he's playing,
dude,
that's the key right there. As long as he's playing.
I mean, he's not good enough to play for one of the worst teams.
Sure.
Like, let's say Ajax itself in Holland, who just lost to Utrecht this weekend, 4-3. I mean, and they are below Utrecht and are second from the bottom in Holland.
How the hell did that happen, quite frankly? I mean,
I don't know.
how do you go from consistently 1 or 2 to all of a sudden
almost winning the fucking Champions League a few years ago? I mean, what's going on in fucking Ajax?
That's nuts.
Yeah, so maybe Ajax had to consider bringing and just flip-flopping young Ajax for Ajax. Just play all the young kids if they're going to be this bad.
Might as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want me to go down my list, or do you want to go down your list of Yanks abroad?
Well, you could start with yours.
Okay. Well, many of you might be familiar with this Twitter handle of Yanks abroad.
Yeah, I've seen that guy.
Okay. So yeah, loves to shit on Americans. I'm not 100% positive where he lies or she lies. Who knows? I'm not guessing of the gender here. But they people are like, well, Mexico sucks, England sucks. They're kind of going back and forth between nationalities with this person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But obviously it's an account just to shit on the Yanks abroad.
Right.
So we're talking about Gaga Slonina.
Mm-hmm.
And his time at Eupen. I said that right? It's Eupen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So he points out in the Belgian league, he has conceded 26 goals so far this season.
Yep.
And I think last season they conceded something like 75 or something like that.
They're not a good team.
They're not a good team. I don't know if my comments up here. Yes, right here. As it turns out, going on loan to the crappiest team in Belgium certainly tests a kid more than riding Pied in England. Most goals and fourth in saves. So they have leaked in the most goals, but he's also made the fourth most saves in the league.
Yep.
What does that tell me? The team fucking sucks.
Right.
And I'm sure some of those goals might be on him, but I would wager that most of them are not.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just blame it on him. You got to blame it on the defense. You got to blame it on, So, I mean, making a Eupen. I was going to say that, BMR, but I've heard Pete say Eupen at this point.
Tack it too. I think that's probably why I went with it.
And I'm like, maybe I'm wrong.
Tack's almost as bad as me.
And then, so I just went with it because at this point, I'm like, maybe I'm just wrong.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now that
nobody
I'm not
in the right
wrong,
mind would look at that and say, it's Eupen.
Well, I have in past shows. You go back and rewind them. I say Eupen.
So, Derek, if there's one person I know that would get it right 90% of the time, it's probably going to be you. I'm not doubting you that you got it right, Derek. I'm just saying most people in their right mind would look at that and never think that it's Oi.
Well, I was pronouncing it properly, but after I heard Pete say it wrong or right, and now, you said it that way, and then
that's because we're American.
Tack said it that way. I thought maybe I just am mispronouncing this word, but
don't ever assume that, Derek.
Okay. All right. I won't do that anymore.
Yeah. So is he having a great season? By all means, no. But he's getting tested. He's getting put in situations that he wouldn't be getting put in, riding Pine and maybe playing a cup game here and there.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually getting tested. So I don't know.
Dude,
Eupen can turn out to still be the worst team in Belgium. Get relegated, and I would still say it was a pretty successful loan for him.
Exactly. That post is meaningless.
Yeah.
It's meaningless because it has no context.
Yeah.
So look at one of the other.
It's just a really shitty stat.
Yeah. Should we blame Brian Reynolds for all the goals that Westerlo's let in this season?
Absolutely.
And by the way, you're right. I should never trust Pete because he called Westerlo on one of his videos. It ain't Westerlo. If it were Westerlo, it would have two O's like Waterloo, but it doesn't. It has one O, and it's Westerlo. Okay, anyhow.
I see.
No offense to Pete, but can't let people lead them astray. All right, what else you got?
The last one I've got is some information on Geo.
Okay, that'll lead right nicely into the Geo conversation. BVB News blog. The upward trend of Gio Reyna, who was injured for a long time and has scored 2 goals against Ghana in the last international break, raises hopes at Borussia Dortmund that he will soon be able to play a much more significant role, as he did today or this weekend. Right? He was fucking great. I mean, even the announcers were like, Jesus Christ, this kid's killing it out here. I mean, this is best 25 minutes. They might want to consider actually maybe giving him 65 minutes and see if he can go 65 because, dude, he was the best player. Best player on the pitch today. Best player.
He's definitely firing on all cylinders. Quite frankly, we saw it in this window. Yeah, this is a rejuvenated Gio. It's good to see. So hopefully, much like what it sounds like some of the fans that Dortmund really want to see is a rejuvenated Gio on the pitch more. Yeah, I don't know to what extent this is. I mean, they have a lot of followers, and they only follow once. I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty good news blog. I'm assuming. So I'm hoping they got their thumb on the pulse. Well,
I mean, you would think, and then Terzic, put Reyna on earlier than he has been. He's been getting slowly more time and more time, and so here we go. Terzic on Gio Reyna. Yeah. Gio is a highly talented player who has been an extremely long history of suffering in his career. He went through a tough phase after the World Cup with the national team. That's why we are delighted that he was able to establish himself there. He was absent for a long time, and our priority was to stabilize him and make him pain-free. After the game against Union, he experienced some issues. Therefore, it's been more pleasing that he returned from the national team in good shape, just like we fucking told Berhalter to do, or suffer the consequences. We are well aware of his potential. With 22 games and 7 weeks ahead, every single player will be needed. Yes, they will be needing him, and so he will probably get some starts. It's hard to say when, because they've only got him up to 25 minutes, but he proved he could easily do 45 with us. So I'd expect to see him get more and more time, even as conservative as Terzic is, because they got so many goddamn games coming up.
Yep.
So. And if he plays like he did this weekend, listen, he should have had 2 assists. 2 assists this weekend. They were sitters. I don't know. And then he almost had a goal that I think it went off some guy's shoulder. I mean, it was from point blank range, but the guy just got in his way enough, and it went bam off his shoulder. And Reyna's like, "That's a handball," and the rest like, "No, it isn't."
No.
But dude, he was all over the place today. Although he was playing right where, only giving Greg more justification to jerk over Weah and start Reyna out in the right way midfield and play his stupid 4-3-3. I hope he never goes back to it again, but who knows?
As silver lining to Adams' injury is that we're less likely to bounce back to that 4-3-3.
Correct.
And that gives Reyna a little more time to establish himself as that 10. And then when Adams does come back, at that point, if Greg reverts back to his MMA center with maybe Reyna or Weah out wide, then at that point, Diego already talked about how he's kind of on a short leash. At that point, if he goes back to that, I don't care what he does, can his ass.
Yeah, can him. If we're going back to the MMA and then he doesn't even start Reyna, if he's not even starting for us, if you can't figure out how to put the player with the highest fucking potential ceiling and actually right now the most talented player we have, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, it's Pulisic. He's the best player." No.
Yep. I was gonna cut us off here on the Yanks abroad segment since we just talked about Gio, and this kind of leads into the Gio versus Pulisic topic, which would lead us into the Pulisic Yanks abroad, and we can bounce back. So why not jump into that? Let's see what the people had to say. As far as in the chat, obviously post who you think has the higher ceiling, who's the best player right now. Give us your reason why you think it might be Pulisic, why you think it's Reyna, etc. Let's see here. Chris Gary says Pulisic is currently the best, but if Gio stays healthy, unfortunately that's a big if. I think he'll be better. It's a good
I-
problem to have.
I agree. I mean, it's a good problem to have. It's not like they're competing for jobs, I don't think.
No, they're completely different. That's going to be going to the argument I'm going to make here in a second. That they're two different types of players. They can play the same position, but they're two different players.
Right. So it sounds like another one who's saying Gio's has a higher ceiling, but he's nowhere near it yet. I don't know about nowhere near it, because what we saw against Mexico in Nations League and what we saw in the 45 minutes he played in both the games, both the friendlies against Ghana and Germany, and what we are now seeing him do at Dortmund, lead me to believe that as soon as he's fit and healthy enough and he starts playing full games, he's just gonna. Okay, the difference between the two guys, anyhow, is that he's a field general and Pulisic's just, an attacker. That's it. That's what he does. He attacks. He's not a creator. He's not, give like these.
Pulisic seems only going to improve with Gio as that general.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, 100%. So as it stands right now, Christian Pulisic has basically a goal in every 2.28 games. Go by stat. At the current rate he's going right now, he's going to outpace Dempsey and Donovan, who have respectively one in 2.47 and one in 2.7. So he's already currently in a higher trajectory of outpacing him in goal scores, not assists by any means, because I think Donovan has that locked down for a while.
Right.
Reyna, even though he has something like 22 games with the national team, he's 1 in 3.6 games as far as goal scoring. Now, of course, most of those games consisted of him playing outright. A lot of them consisted of him getting bit minutes. So, I mean, we're talking about, when it comes to the actual stats, we're talking about apples and oranges, trying to compare the two. There are two different types of players. Again, as you mentioned earlier, general versus just an attacker. And there's nothing wrong with Pulisic just being the attacker, right? I talked about how last cycle, not the previous cycle, Berhalter, but the last cycle we didn't qualify for. The reason he was so effective is because he was just an attacker.
Right.
Everybody else did the work, and he cleaned it up and scored.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, if you have Reyna in that 4-2-3-1 playing centrally as a CAM behind the striker and the two attacking wingers, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, because he is the field general that we've never had. And the only thing close to him, like remotely, and that's even not that close, is Malik Tillman. So
currently,
right now, that's what we got. Chuck, Reyna is more talented and has the vision. I agree. He makes his teammates better. Pulisic is just a dribbler, can't cross the ball. Well, certainly not on set pieces. He can't.
Definitely not on set pieces.
But I would say that Pulisic is at least a guy. He's not only an attacker, but he will take guys on. He's really good with the touch 1-2 passes. He's really good at that. So I wouldn't cut Pulisic short on what he's good at. He just ain't Reyna. He just ain't. Nye Michaels. Reyna has the higher ceiling. He just has the ability to quarterback a game. Exactly. So it sounds like there's some consensus here. Pulisic is who he is. Just has
right
now. Just has to stay healthy. Yeah, both of them. Both of them need to stay healthy.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
So it is. I think we're all under the same agreement here, in the sense that most, I mean, not all. I mean, I guess most probably see that Reyna has the higher ceiling. He just needs to start getting the games. Pulisic has the significantly better, and I know that Reyna is obviously younger too, but Pulisic has a significantly better club career, and currently speaking, the better international career for the Nats.
Yes.
Now, saying that again, limited times, out of position, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Injuries included too.
Yep.
So, but this is one thing I test. When you watch Reyna on the ball, that is a fucking genius waiting to blossom. Like, that kid is something goddamn special. And it's ridiculous. He could end up being our first world-class player. like a guy by the end of his career who's like a Bellingham, like how Bellingham is seen now at Real Madrid as one of the best players in the world. I think that's possible for Pulisic too. I think he could blossom into that. He's got everything that you need to get there. It's just a matter of staying healthy and getting some games. The way he played today, the way he's been playing for us when healthy, that Nations League stuff was just we dominated Mexico, and he was one of the main reasons why. Alex, two different players, agreed. Two different totally players. Pulisic has talents with the ball and finishing, but Reyna can control the flow of games and more, the games more. And I would say even more than that. When you look at Pulisic and you watch him play, you're not like, oh, wow, yeah, that guy is, he's got everything. He's like a Zizou. He's like, all parts of the game. He's technically gifted. When you look at Reyna, it's like he could probably play at least 6 different positions on the field.
He's definitely stronger at certain ones, but yes.
CP got yanked at the 42nd. I know, but it was because somebody got a red card.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Derek, you were watching the game.
Yeah,
How was Pulisic playing in that 42 minutes?
I mean, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't really a major part of the first half.
I think you said he wasn't asserting himself. So
no, I don't. I think
definitely wasn't a game to write home to.
He was trying, but he wasn't getting much of the ball. It was mostly going down Leao's side,
and that's the big factor right there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You get a whatever, the center back gets a red card. You need to bring in another center back. You're not going to take out somebody from your midfield.
Right.
You're not going to remove somebody from your defense. So you're going to remove somebody from your attack.
Right.
So if it's all going down the outside, then obviously you're going to take out Pulisic. And if Pulisic's not having a lights out game, then of course he's going to get yanked.
And he wasn't having a lights out game at all. Leao was way more threatening in the game than Pulisic was in that first half.
Larry, I think this is Weah's second start period this season. So he ends up asking, does Weah get yanked? No, most of the time he usually doesn't come on to Juve until like the 82nd minute. Depends. And I don't mean this to be bashing Weah. I'm just making a point here. Pulisic got pulled out because they needed a defensive option, and they aren't going to take out Leao, and they're not going to take out. I'm guessing, was it Giroud that was up top?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to take him out.
No.
You're down a player. You're going to be playing a lot of balls to your striker,
and you
got to be able to hold him up.
You don't pull a defender. Weah was playing right wing back. They're going to pull a defender out if you get it. They got a red. Juventus didn't get a red card. Let's just put that clear. Make that clear.
Did Weah outplay him? Yeah. I think Weah had a more assertive game than Pulisic. Yeah.
I mean, and he had to deal with Leao.
But on top of that, he was also up a man for a half.
He and McKennie kind of teamed up on Leao on the AC Milan's left wing. It was a lot of work.
So yeah, it's a silly thing. We're not saying that Pulisic had a great game by any means, but to sit here and harp and say like, oh, he got subbed out at halftime and use that as some kind of a negative. I mean, I think that's also doing a disservice to the player.
No, absolutely. So, they had to take somebody out. I mean, listen, we can't get into the game where we're happy people fail. Is that where we're at? We shouldn't be there. If that's where you're at, you shouldn't be there either, Larry, because that's not a good thing. I don't know why you'd be happy that Pulisic, got yanked at halftime. What are you winning by that? I don't get it. Anyhow, and yeah, Pulisic was pretty frustrated by being taken out, but he knew somebody had to come out.
Yeah, no. They weren't going to play. They weren't against Juve. They were not going to play down in the defense.
Right. Did you hear that Pete doesn't like steak? I did not know that about Pete. We've never talked about steak like Brett and I do on this show. So we brought that up with him. How do you
not like steak?
Yeah. A great steak. Now, granted, you can go out and buy bad steak, right? Or steak that looks like it should be good because it's got all the marbling, and then cook it and it sucks.
Yeah, while the kids were gone, I had a nice little steak dinner with the wifey. I cooked a filet. And it
Nice.
was actually a decent fillet. I didn't pay for it.
Nice.
She's like, yeah, and get a fillet, not like the New York strips you usually get or something like that. I'm like, I only get like
Okay.
New York strips because of the price.
Fillets you cannot go wrong with, though.
True.
I mean, I've never had a bad fillet that we bought. But my dad doesn't want a good fillet, right? He wants a good, just like you do, New York strip or a sirloin or whatever. You can't
Well,
find
nice porterhouse is what I want.
one. That too.
Yeah, nice porter.
Yeah.
Like that. Take the tomahawk steak. I'll take that any day of the week.
Oh yeah, that sounds great right now.
Mhm.
All right.
I got home from work after picking the kid up, or Chuck up, and came home and immediately I cooked. Kroger had chicken on sale. Oddly enough, it was actually reduced because my guess is it was probably on the verge of going bad.
Ooh.
So it was deducted in price. I immediately cooked it.
Oh God.
Yes.
Don't ever do that again, dude. Because
yes,
so many times I have this is many years ago. I used to do that. Buy the ones on sale. They were rotten every time I took them home.
No, perfectly fine. I've got my gut is strong like iron.
Well, you cooked it real well, I'm sure.
Oh fuck no, we cooked it nice.
I said, well done though. You made sure it was done.
It was cooked through. Yes.
Yes.
Much like most time I cook chicken. I don't cook it dry,
Right.
but it's definitely cooked through. Also I also ended up cooking wife wanted angel hair pasta, so I cooked her angel hair pasta. And then I also cooked myself pork chops afterwards.
You can't get better than that.
That's
Pork
great.
chops are delicious. Yes.
I got meals for a week now.
All right. Do we have any other comments we need to go over? But there's just a consensus here, which is that Reyna has the higher ceiling. I think at some point he's going to have the bigger career, actually, too. Sure. He's going to play on the bigger team. He's going to play on even a bigger role on a bigger team than Pulisic did at Chelsea or AC Milan. I think Pulisic's going to have a big impact at AC Milan. But if Reyna actually gets to where his ceiling is, he's got a chance to be a Jude Bellingham-esque sort of player.
It's tricky, though, because when Pulisic was with Chelsea, at least from the get-go, earlier on, he was third in the league. Chelsea was third in the league the 1 year.
Yeah.
And then that was the following year is the year they ended up winning the Champions League.
Right.
That's a hell of a thing to do better than. At that point, it's going to be quantity. It's going to be winning multiple Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
Playing for another top tier team similar to Chelsea, not necessarily at the time. They're still again third at the time, but it's again, if you're just looking at stats, and it may be one of those things where Gio may never ever catch up to Pulisic in stats as far as goals for the United States.
But they don't play. He doesn't play that role though. He's not. Yeah.
But you got to end up looking at the overall play and what effect he brings to the team itself. Because as of right now, Pulisic's firing on all cylinders. Gio's back and he's firing on the 45 minutes that he got each game, and he looked good. The team looked good.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting what we see when both are healthy playing and we've got a full squad. I'm fine with Gio Reyna scoring goals, but what he's really there to do is to help Balogun score goals and help Pulisic score goals. If he's playing the CAM 10 spot that almost all of us think he should be playing for the national team, everyone but Greg, is because everybody else in the world believes that. Oh, Greg and Lawless. I'm sorry. Lawless isn't sure what his best position is. Yeah.
Yes. Lawless
even playing him out of position in the middle? That's insane.
God,
Look, Dortmund played him out again, not wide.
Fuck, dude.
It's only playing into his ego at that point. He's like, look, right again.
Look, he played right wing for Dortmund today.
Yeah.
RD Rap 13, thank you, brother, for the $4.99. Gio Def has the higher ceiling, but CP still young, so both will get better as long as they still stay healthy. And as somebody else pointed out, and we have here as well, they're not the same player, so they should be complementary. Mm-hmm. And that's only good for one thing, the U.S. men's national team. And let's hopefully Greg doesn't ruin that, because it should be the way they work together when they played together in this last friendly window said it all for me. They got no problem with one another. All those people that said Pulisic, Pulisic and Reyna have this feud. No, there ain't no feud.
Where is it? I'm going to scroll up just a couple more times. If I don't see it, I'm going to read what I'm pretty sure it's asked. Okay. Somebody basically asked if it was if what we thought of Greg as a manager, if he's an average or a below average manager, given the fact that the team's getting results and we've gotten results under him and everything like that. Where do we see him as an overall manager?
He's certainly below average.
Yeah.
He's been below average his whole career. He should never even gotten the job.
Yep.
What did he win an MLS Cup? Did I miss that?
Hey, he coached in Europe and
they fired him because what did they say? They said
no attack. He had no idea how to do the attack.
He said they were horrible in the final third.
They were inept.
And they were inept.
Yeah.
And then he brought that inept ship to the fucking U.S. men's national team where we struggled under Berhalter against better teams. We continually struggle to score in the final third. We're fine at moving the ball up the field and having possession, but we can't put the ball in the goal. Well, then his underlings took over and made him look like he was worse than them. BJ looks like a better manager than Greg. Hudson looked like a better manager than Greg.
Yeah.
So,
I know obviously Hudson had the first go around, maybe BJ glommed onto it, said, hey, this actually does look a lot better. Because I don't know. I know that Pete and Tech always made the joke and everyone's going around Twitter like, BJ's just glorified gym teacher as an assistant. But he came in and he kicked ass, took names and all that shit.
Right.
But I wonder if it's either him looking at, say, like what Hudson was trying to do there, or if he looked at it and simply said, why are we overthinking this shit?
Yes, it's that. And it's also the difference between BJ and Hudson versus Greg is BJ and Hudson have one thing Greg has very little of. It's called humility.
A personality.
That too. And we said this on the show before, and we're not going to say who says it or who thinks it. But there are players on the team that really think Greg's kind of a fucking weird dude. And he is a weird dude. Just fucking watch his interviews. He's completely his inability to have any shade of honesty about everything is so super calculated. The way he words it, the way he says it, he's so fucking repetitive with what he says. Never seen a manager like that ever in U.S. All my years of covering the sport, from Bruce Arena, well, even older than that. But Jesus Christ.
Speaking of BA, man, did you hear that he's looking at the DC United gig?
I heard LA Galaxy were also sniffing around.
Oh well, he's got to apologize to the commissioner, I guess, or whatever. Whatever, he's got to submit a formal I fucked up.
And then he's got
hope to God he gets the thumbs up approval by the front office of MLS.
Yep, he's got to go to Garber's office, give him a little reach around, say I'm sorry, and then I think he'll be back. He's a legend. Bruce Arena is. I know we all remember him from Cuba, but before that horrible distinction was bestowed upon himself himself. Not by himself alone, though. The players have some responsibility to take there too. He took us further than anybody. Any coach has taken us in a World Cup. So we've never been back there again. So there's that.
Not that far, no.
Okay. So you want to cover the rest of it?
Let's go. Let's finish anything we have about the AC Milan Juventus game. Musa.
Looks like Musa will continue to be a regular starter until his face gets back from a knock, the injury. The other Chelsea guy that came along as well. Thank you, Loftus-Cheek. Then, if I were the coach, honestly, watching AC Milan play, I don't think I'd take Musa out. I'd replace one of those other two duds they got in midfield. all right, with Loftus-Cheek because they're not providing much. I'd keep Musa in there, and I might even play him centrally like he has before for AC Milan. I thought he looked great centrally. It's a lot of responsibility, though, to play center midfield between the left midfield, right midfield. It means that you're the field general, and you're also protecting the back line. So down the middle. We'll see what happens, but I'm really thrilled with the fact that Musa is playing 90 minutes again this weekend. I think it bodes well for the rest of the season for him. And it does show how much confidence the manager has in him.
Yeah.
See Weston's yellow card. Did I fucking miss that?
This is in the second half, Derek. You didn't get to see it. Or you may have missed it while the show was on.
I was peeking up, but yeah, I missed big chunks of it while we were talking.
Yeah, there's sort of like the foul was called and he kicked the ball away or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
It was stupid, I think.
Little childish.
Personally.
Little childish.
It wasn't even childish. It was dumb. It would be one thing if it was like in the 89th minute or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it happened like in the 60th area, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why players do things like that. I really don't. I don't know why Weston did it. Okay. Other players to cover are Brendan Aronson.
I think we cover him?
Huh?
Not much to cover.
Well, that's my point. My point is to say we told you on this show that Brendan Aronson is playing himself off the team. And that is exactly what happened as he rode Pine for 90 this weekend.
I think Berlin was pissed off how well he played against Germany.
I don't think that was enough.
I don't think so.
They've seen that in practice, okay?
Yeah.
They've seen that from Brendan in practice. What they've seen in the games is him missing sitters and headers that are also sitters. Yeah. So Paredes got 12 for Wolfsburg and a loss. John Brooks. Okay, for all you John Brooks haters, you got some ammunition this weekend.
Yep.
Because he had a fucking horrendous game and was yanked at halftime by Matarazzo. And I don't think it's permanent. I think Matarazzo's like, man, our defense is getting embarrassed and you're part of the problem. So they yanked two of the center backs at half. I don't think both of them were yanked at halftime, but Brooks was yanked at halftime. So he had a bad game. We're happy. We're not going to shy away from it. And say,
like you started to say, yeah, we're happy to say, but we're not happy to say.
No, we're not happy to say it that he had a bad game and a horrific game, but he did have one. And when he does, we're going to say it. And we said it back when he made that stupid decision to go to Benfica. We said it was a stupid decision to go play in Portugal.
Yep. And
never get to play. So, and it was a horrible thing to do right before the World Cup, which he wasn't going to anyhow. So it doesn't really fucking matter. Then Paxton Aronson, this is kind of where he's going to be most of the season.
Sure.
Riding Pine. And I'm sorry, but I don't know. I hate saying things like this, but I don't think he's Bundesliga quality.
He's super fucking young. We'll see what happens.
I mean, his older brother doesn't look like it either. So there's that. Toljan, 90 minutes and a loss for Sassuolo. And then Luca De La Torre, and I mean, the team got a red card, so they got their asses handed to them by Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
But he had 81 minutes. I don't know how to describe it except for middle of the road, sort of. Nothing spectacular. Hey, Mihailovic just did what he's been doing all season, riding Pine for
biding his time until he can sign with Chicago.
Yeah, man, did that opportunity come and go so fast, and it's on him.
But it happens more often than not.
Right, and it's on him. He was given chances. He just did nothing with them. And I'm not saying he even played bad. He didn't impress. He didn't take the bull by the horns. Pepe got 10. Tillman got 10. Des was in the 18 getting rest, I was told, because he played a lot of minutes for the U.S. men's national team, and they just wanted to rest him a game.
Doesn't PSV have a game up this midweek?
They may. So they need to rest.
Yeah, they got a game tomorrow. It's Champions League.
Yeah. So it does not surprise me that he got a rest after all the minutes he played for the U.S. men's national team over the break. Bello, 90 for Lask. We already mentioned that. Soto didn't start. We already covered Reyna and Che. Ream and Jedi got their asses handed to them today versus Tottenham. And Tottenham goes top table. Not surprising, by the way. Tottenham have looked better without Harry Kane. I can't believe I just said that because I think Harry Kane's like one of the best center forwards in the world right now. And wow. Balogun, 89 in a win. Really didn't have like a whole lot to do with any of the goals. So, but that's, okay, so what? You're going to have games where you don't score, you don't get an assist. Scally got 45. Again, Scally didn't start. But again, the manager who had the guy starting before Scally was like not impressed with that guy and yanked him again and put Scally in at the halftime. So I don't know.
Could this be because of all the time Scally got in the international window?
No, I don't think so, Brett.
Hey, he got a game.
He did, but then he got a whole week, another week to rest. Yeah. And they still lost. PFOC got the last 10. PFOC's already sort of losing the confidence of the manager. I think they expected more.
Is Union Berlin all over again?
It's kind
start out strong and fizzle out as the season progresses.
He hasn't started out that strong. I mean, he got a goal or two.
You might be right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's not like he's dominating the games like he did when he first came to Union Berlin, where they were just scoring goals for fun between him and Becker. Maloney went 90 in a loss.
He only has 1 goal, 1 assist so far.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Maloney went 90 in a loss. They started out with their pants on fire and then goal. 4 goals in a row from the other team. They lost.
Didn't they get a red card in the game?
I didn't think they did in that one.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
You might be.
I might be thinking of somebody else. I think they just got curb stomped.
Yeah, they did. And that's so
how
weird.
rough is that to go up 2-0 just to lose 5-2?
I mean, it's such a weird total disaster fall apart. But the weird thing is, it really wasn't his fault. It's like everybody around him, because they play a 4-1-4-1. And in that 4 in front of him, they just stopped playing defense. And so actually, there were 3 guys in front of him in that 4-1-4-1. They got yanked eventually in the game because they were shit. They were shite. Let's see. We already talked about it. How about McKenzie? McKenzie starting again, went 90, got an assist for another 4. This is a big time 4-0 win for them. McKenzie, somebody to keep an eye out. I think he's starting to really look confident out there. Tyler Booth, 62 with Utrecht versus Ajax. And yes, they won. He did not score any or get any assists, but he played a big role in that first 62 minutes, I thought. But they still weren't ready to let him go any longer than 60. That was just like, you could tell that was a cutoff time.
Sure.
Coliocho, 45 versus Burnley, lost. That was a horrible game. Chris Richards in the 18. Not going to play, obviously. He's just not going to play for Crystal Palace unless one of the other center backs gets shot in the leg. Nope, I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying that is what needs. That's an injury of some sort is going to have to happen. Matt Turner, I did not get the chance to watch the Nottingham Forest game. I know they started out with a 2-0 win, and then I looked it up, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, go Matt!" And then I looked at the final score like an hour later, and they lost or they tied 2-2. So I don't know if those goals were his fault. I know you've changed topics, but where's my super chat?
Remember this one?
GeoJeff has a higher ceiling. Yeah, we read this and we responded to it. RD Rap.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And we agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
We got you covered, man.
Yep. Austin Trusty. Now, this one's interesting. Sheffield United have been getting slaughtered by everybody. Austin Trusty started the last 2 games, and that defenses look a lot better with him playing center back. And guess what? I think he's going to continue to start because
hold on. There's a second one.
Oh, he did another one.
Sorry, Artie. I must have missed one.
For $4.99. Again, thank you, brother. We appreciate it. Greg sucks. We agree. And players return to club in worse form after international duty. Greg ball impacts player confidence. Well, not so much the case this weekend, but sometimes that does happen, that players go back in poor form after, or injured, even worse, after playing Greg ball. But not this weekend. Everybody pretty much, no one really stunk it up this weekend.
Outside of Geo, did anybody really have standout performance though?
No, Gio's it. But that doesn't mean everybody sucked. McKenny wasn't horrible. Whale wasn't bad at all.
And there you go. I had another one on that. Okay, so I can't remove the super chat while I'm talking about it. We'll come back to that comment in a second. And I guess the good news is that we, while our starters were starting in the first half, we weren't necessarily playing Greg ball.
No.
So that
So
definitely affected us in our second half performances. That carried back and affected their confidence. I can see it happening, yeah.
First half of Ghana was not Greg ball. At all. It was not Greg ball. We played a 4-2-3-1, and it didn't even look like Greg ball. We were just shocked to be watching it. And it was dominant. It smashed Ghana to pieces. That is BJ ball or Hudson ball. I don't care which you pick which one.
Yeah, pick your poison.
4-2-3-1 with more freedom to do, with Reyna given freedom to go wherever the fuck he wanted on the field, actually. That hasn't happened since BJ last did it. So, and we've never seen it under Greg prior to this.
Nope.
That's why you can't call it Greg ball. Somebody else is like, okay, well, you're giving credit.
Hey, when Legit was playing, we were playing with a 10.
No, we weren't. We've never played with a 10. We've always played with a 6 and 2 8s. You know that. Under Greg, the only other
news to me, Derek.
The only other experiment I can remember is the 3 in the back one, or the 5 in the back, depending how you want to look at it. All right, let's finish this up.
Gio as a false 9 was different. Against Dutch.
Absolutely desperate, isn't it? Absolutely desperate. With no Sargent and 2 stinkers of center forwards left, yes. Especially, we already played one and pulled him out, who started the game and got the lucky goal, right? But then Ferreira, we knew, no, don't, So, yeah. But that was a last-minute decision, right, to play him as a false 9. Neither returners' fault. That's good to know, because I haven't watched the game. Yeah. I was going to go watch.
Forrest choked hard, but neither were his fault.
That's good to know, because I've yet to either watch the game or the highlights. I probably just watch the highlights, because all I care about is the shots that Turner saves, and those will all be in the highlights. And, the goals that went past him, were they his fault? So, that's the great thing about covering goalkeepers. In this, you mostly have to do is watch the highlights for goalkeepers, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Because,
you might miss on how good of distribution they have.
No, because if the distributing pass to the forward or whatever starts that rally that ends with the goal, they usually keep the whole thing in for the highlight.
That's fair. That's true.
Yeah. All right.
Limited number, but
yeah. Dwayne Holmes, 63 for Preston North End and a tie. And then to finish it up, for all you Reggie Cannon lovers, he went 20 for QPR, the last 20. Charlie Kellman, Road Pine for QPR for the full game. And by the way, QPR, we mentioned them earlier, they are in the drop zone. They are in 22nd. Queens Park Rangers, if people are new to the game and don't know what QPR stands for, All right, that's all we got.
Did you cover the Venezia game?
I did not. It
Shame,
wasn't on
shame.
TV. It wasn't on TV.
No. They lost 1-0.
Well, it might have been on TV, but none of the TV I get on my TV.
It should be on ES. I imagine it's on ESPN.
No, it's not.
Most of the time there. Tessman doesn't look to have started. Busio played. Tessman came in. Got a yellow card at some point.
It's kind of weird now. All of a sudden, Busio's starting and Tessman isn't. Is Tessman
Is that
going?
consistent? I mean, I don't know if
It's
how
a couple.
consistent is that?
It's just a couple games. Ever since Tessman came back from the U.S. men's national team service, things have been sketchy with him at Venezia.
That performance was sketchy, to say the
You
least.
think? I wonder if it killed his confidence. Might have been a confidence killer. I don't know.
Going through the games, he had 90 minutes up until the 22nd. I mean, he had a couple games back in early September, which I guess would have been about that time period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he came back from it. It looks like he may have came back from international window. He got 45, 67. Then he went 3 games straight of starting, and then this last game only got 19 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. I don't think we have to worry about Busio or Tessman being called up to the U.S. men's national team anytime soon. Not when you got the option of Johnny Cardoso, who just played fabulously, right? And the other option of Leonard Maloney, who plays in a fucking actual top 5 league instead of a second division of a top 5 league. Yeah, I don't think they're necessary. So Lund got an assist today. I forgot all about the Palermo game. All right, I'm gonna have to go back and check out the stats on that one.
Yeah, Palermo's sitting in 3rd right now, and Venezia's 4th in the league.
Well, if Venezia does its usual Venezia, they'll find themselves just right around the edges of promotion.
Well, you said Venezia.
Venezia.
Well, you got to remember last season they were relegation
Horrible
bound
until
the
the
second half
end
of the season.
Yeah,
and they really picked it up.
Right,
and then they've continued that success so far. So I would think that they've turned a leaf at that point. They get a new manager at that point. What happened?
I hope you're right. Yes, they did last season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. I hope you're right. I love their uniforms. I want to buy one. Jose Lopez. Busio has been pretty good this year. Not great, but good. Well, dude, he didn't even play until recently. So he wasn't playing regularly for Venezia. He was a bench warmer. So
he's making a comeback.
I mean, if you're talking about the last handful of games, yes, he's doing better. All of a sudden, he scored not that long ago. So let's hope that continues to happen and his confidence goes up and he becomes more than just sort of a bench role player for the team. And that doesn't mean even if he and Tessman rip it up in Serie B, that there aren't players ahead of both of them right now for U.S. men's national team. You got guys playing in bigger leagues doing better things. Cardoso just showed us something really impressive in the friendlies, and Maloney didn't look half bad. And he's playing in the Bundesliga, and they both play in the midfield. So.
It's just a shame that that Tessman had that stinker of a half, not even a half, like 15 minutes, and then mediocre at best second half. And that was his big opportunity. And the problem is Greg's got such a limited time span leading into Copa that there's not going to be a lot of time to just willy-nilly throw people in. And like you said, Johnny comes in the next window, kills it.
Right. Looked great.
It's that window's closing up.
It is. And then you still got to worry about the fact that Adams is going to get healthy. And then you got McKennie, Musa, Luca De La Torre, and we might play a 4-2-3-1. And that means the midfield needs will shrink, So there's that too. All things to be considered. All right. That's it for our show. We did our 2 hours but not on purpose. I was not aiming for 2 hours. How we got to exactly 2 hours, I do not know, but that's where we are.
I think we went on like a 45-minute Olympic rant.
Yeah. Remember, when it's between you and your stepsister, it's up to you whether it's KY or it's Vaseline. That's, guys, you got to talk to each other about it, though. Maybe she prefers one over the other. And it's really, in the end, going to be up to her. And I think, because that's what's important. Now, maybe you don't need it, and that's even better. But until the next time on the Straight Red Card, please say hello to your stepsister for us, and we will see you on Thursday. Goodbye.
She's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm,
articulate and intelligent.
Greg's a bitch.